What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It is the 8th day of May today. What a wonderful month we're in right now, this month of May. Here we are, pressing $100,000. 99,000.7 is where we're at right now. I made a post on X and I said, I'm imagining the Bitcoin bears are curled up in a fetal position, soothing themselves, saying, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. 100K is psychological resistance. We won't break through it. This is just a rejection point. Bear Jesus will save us. I'm imagining that's what's happening right now. I'm imagining that's what's going on. And even if it does, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, even if it does, we're going to be right back at it the next day or the next week, and we're coming for you, all-time highs. We're coming for you, bear tears. It's inevitable at this point. We are on the way higher. We absolutely are. It's absolutely inevitable. Here's how we'll prove it. Here's how we will prove it. Okay, let's imagine that we were back here. Okay, what does this look like as far as like in this trend goes? That looks like a lower high. It is a lower high, right? I imagine there are a lot of people right here that expected the price to reject and go lower. But did it do that? No. It moved sideways. We moved sideways. We moved sideways for 10 days, and then on the 10th day, we moved up. Okay. Well, now we're at a point of resistance. Okay, now we're at a point. Surely we should go down here. Nope. Okay, well, we're going up still. All right. We broke through it. We had our breakout move. Now, surely we should pull back, right? We've broken out. Every time we move up, you get a pullback, right? Of course that would happen, right? And how'd that go for you? Because all we did was the exact same thing where we just moved sideways and we moved sideways. And I'm sure at this point there are people expecting us to go down, right? But then we went up. Oh, now we're definitely going down. Now we're definitely, wait, but we're not. We're breaking out. We're going to the upside, right? These sideways moments of consolidation are absurdly bullish. If you're moving like this, you guys, and you move sideways like this and you continue to move, this is some of the most bullish structure that you can have. Because you're not, what this means is there's, at least how I interpret it, there's so much demand that you can't retrace. The retracement itself at large is 4.5%. That's what you get. That's your discount offer. You don't get these movements here. And this is lining up exactly with what I've been saying for months now, that the coming move, whenever it happens, I'm not saying I called this move perfectly. I have not. For months, I've been calling for us to go to 170 to 180K. And I thought that we would do it in February. I thought we'd do it in March, April. Here we are in May. You know, it's going to happen in June, right? And June, late June, early July has been the call for like over a month now, to be fair. So I mean, it's been like that for a while, but I'm not trying to pretend like I've been right all along. What I am trying to say is that all along I have been saying that this next move would be fast, and it would not be something that people are expecting, right? It's not gonna have all these little forgiving pullbacks and give you an opportunity to buy in. It's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be faster than anticipated, and faster it is. Granted, this consolidation phase lasted longer than I expected, but here we are, you guys, at $100,000, 9 hours left in the day. We're just below 100K. Yes, we hit $99,900 and came down. You guys, we're knocking on that door. If they're not home, we're gonna go down the street, knock on someone else's door, and they're gonna be like, "Oh yes, we support you." Okay, and then we're gonna come back and knock on this door. They'll let us in, and then we're gonna break through, man. It's gonna be phenomenal. Okay, daily RSI just getting into the overbought zone right today. We've just gotten into it. Yesterday, we were right here, just below it. Today, we are above it, getting into it, right? Anybody and everybody who's bearish, they're probably clinging beyond all hopes and doubts that this bearish divergence will save them. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I wouldn't be surprised if today we closed right here, just below 100K. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we broke through 100K either, if we're being fair, but I wouldn't be surprised if we closed here just under 100K, and then we open up the day tomorrow to the downside, giving everybody some expectations that this bearish divergence means anything. Let's pretend it does. Let's pretend it does, and it doesn't. I don't think that it does. I think, in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to grow and get higher highs continually over the coming days and weeks, and that will actually make this RSI reading get above this. This is a classic setup that screws a lot of people up, man. And if you're one of them, if you're a bear clinging on to hope for this, I want you to understand how desperate that is, because really what we've done is we had our bearish divergence. We moved down to the 60. We bounced off. We're in the overbought zone again. We're not going to stop here, okay? We're certainly not going to stop here. That was it. That was your bearish divergence move. That 4% drop, that was it. But let's say I'm wrong. Let's say this is double bearish divergence, which exists. And from the current price, we return back to where the divergence formed, which is all the way down here. That's less than a 5% drop, okay? That's less than a 5% drop. Even if you're right, bears who are clinging on to this for bearish hope, and we go all the way down, even if you're right, and you're more right, we go all the way down to 88K. Let's see, what would that be? Let's go all the way down to 88,000. That's a 10% drop, 11% drop. Great. Bitcoin, if I'm right, is going to go, it's going to continue to grow until we see new all-time highs, until we're at 120K or beyond. That's double the potential loss that you're arguing here. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's more risky right now. We're looking at a Bitcoin, a BTC USD that is more risky to not buy. We're at the highest prices that we've seen since February. We're at the highest prices we've seen since February. And this would be more risky right now to not buy, to not be a part of, than it would be to wait and see if a pullback comes your way. I'm just saying that to promote a sense of urgency. What if this happens? So what? The growth is going to weigh it. It's going to outweigh it. What if this happens? So what? The growth is going to outweigh it. We're not stopping at 120K. That's just the next stopping point, right? Much like this was a stopping point, or this was a stopping point. And sure, we could stop before then, but I don't think that we're going to consolidate like this. We're not, maybe we just move sideways or continue to grow, but I don't think that we're going to see any kind of significant pullbacks until we get to about 120K. At least not until we're at like above 104,000, but I think 121K, genuinely by the end of the month, I'm anticipating that by the end of May, Bitcoin will be somewhere between 130 and 140K, just above 130K, just below 140K, but something, and maybe even right there at 140K, but that's what my thoughts are by the end of May, right? We're on this path right now. If you're waiting for the pullback, the last two times that hasn't done you good. If you're doing it here and it works out, that's great. But understand you're playing with fire, because where we're going inevitably eclipses this little zone here, right? This move eclipses that zone there. So you're playing with fire. It's more risky, in my opinion, to not be a part of crypto right now than it would be to get in, even at these high points. Yes, maybe not for every crypto. You know, some of them are up 41% today. Maybe don't buy those that are up 41%. Maybe do. Who knows? You never know how high these things can go. But I do believe that Bitcoin's on a path higher. I very much do believe that, right? We're getting consistent readings in the daily RSI. The last time that we saw consistent readings was back here. And if you notice, whenever that happened, that was in the phase of our last move higher, right? And clearly this is a much different move. Clearly we're in a different phase now where we're showing a lot more strength. I think that right now, you guys, what we're seeing is that the whole world is looking at each other and they're like, okay, guys, this has gone on long enough. Bitcoin, we all know, right? We all know, right, that Bitcoin's worth more than $100,000. What are we doing? Let's just buy this thing up while we can, while we have the grace, the affordability, the availability of seeing Bitcoin below $100,000. You guys, these are the final moments, and I'm going to say it every single video until we're above 100K. And I want to correct something, right? Because I had somebody in the comments yesterday on my YouTube channel. They said, surely you mean just 100K for this cycle, right? What about the bear cycle when we retest prices below 100K? I don't think we're going to go below $100,000 in the bear market. Whenever I say these are the last days below $100,000, I mean that. I mean that so much. I mean it to my core. And we're going to go over why real quick, okay? Why right now, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, it's genius to buy Bitcoin or any cryptos right now, and why it would even be genius in comparison to the bear market lows of the next bear cycle, okay? Now this does take a lot of assuming, right? If you don't assume the same all-time high targets this cycle that I do, you're not going to see it the same way. But we can go with a couple different targets and see what we find. Let's just see what we find, okay? So here, if we're looking at it, right, my expectation, my anticipation is that Bitcoin will go to $500,000 by the end of this cycle, by the end of the year of 2025. I've been saying this since 2022, end of 2022, early 2023. This has been a long time call. First cycle, all-time high to bear market low. We ran all the way up to the 2272, all the way up there, okay? Found support at the 1618, showing significance at both of these levels. But with the 2272 specifically, you do wick just above it. You do wick just above it, okay? And we go to the next cycle, from a high to a low. We had the 2272 being pierced, again, just above it. That was the high. Found support, again, at the golden ratio, showing significance on both of these. The next cycle, we had a first in Bitcoin's history where you did not hit the 2272. You did not have a blow off top. In fact, you had a double top at the 1618, still showing significance there. You know, the DXY, the dollar, the US dollar index was expanding during this time. Never have we seen the US dollar expand, the DXY expand in value while we're in a bull market. That's never happened before. So I think that held us back. We had quantitative tightening come in. We had interest rates going up. The Ukraine-Russia war happened just a few months after this, and somebody keeps, you know who you are, shout out to November, somebody keeps coming on anytime I use that as a point, that the Ukraine-Russia war happened. They're like, you realize that happened after 2021, right? I'm like, okay, well, but that's not the point. You realize how war works, right? People don't just overnight, boom, we're in war. This is something that probably has taken months of planning. People prepare for war, at least strategical people, which, no offense or whatever, but I think Russia's pretty strategic, right? I don't think they're just impulsive. The news wants you to believe that Vladimir Putin is a madman with his hand on a nuclear button, but the reality is he's actually very intelligent. I'm not saying he's a good person. I'm not trying to butter his ass or anything like that. I'm just saying, you guys, like, if you believe the media that he's just some kind of madman, you'll get a different look. You know, he probably would, if he could, take over the world if it was available to him, but it's not, you know, and he knows that, and we all know that, right? I'm not saying that he's a good guy. I'm just saying he's definitely not dumb. You listen to him talk, you see the things that he does. He's strategic, he's tactical. And if they went to war, months later, I guarantee you that the people at the top, the people who sold the top, they were aware of what's coming. They were very aware of what's coming, right? Donald Trump, he seemed like he was pretty aware of what was coming back then anyways. But there was a whole lot, and I'm just saying, if he's aware, there's other people. There's plenty of people who are aware, guys, back then. Just you and me weren't. The regular everyday people, we weren't aware of what was going to happen until it happened, right? But the fact of the matter is, back here, I'm getting all distracted on this stuff, man, is that back here, there were a lot of things that screwed up the economy, not just in America, not just in crypto, but in the whole damn world. It screwed it up, right? And I think that we were supposed to see the 2272, but we got held back. We'll never know. But so far, with every fib extension, we've hit the 1618, we've hit the 2272, at least one of those going forward. I'm calling for us to go to 170 to 180K by the end of June. Okay? I don't think that this is an end of cycle target like it was last cycle. I don't think the 1618 is an end of cycle target. I think we're going to hit this by the end of June. And then whenever October, November comes along, we're going to continue to grow, right? In October and November, we will be at prices that are all the way up at about $462,000 at the 2272, as we've done the majority of times in Bitcoin's history, which is 2 out of 3. This is the 4th time right here. So it's not a whole lot to go off of, but I think that we are going to stop right here. And just like we've done historically speaking, we will not just hit the 2272, we will pierce a little bit above that, and that means Bitcoin will go to a $500,000 price, okay? By the end of the cycle, by the end of 2025, I'm thinking October 2025. That's my assumption, okay? It could go a little bit later. I hear the rationality for crypto to go on until early 2026. I hear the rationality behind that, but I'm sticking with October 2025 for $500,000 Bitcoin. Yes, we are in crunch time, but you guys, the thing is, Bitcoin has moved up a lot in crunch time before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months here. 7 months from now, it's May. So all of May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months. Okay, so instead of 6 months, instead of 7 months, let's just do 6 months. This is what Bitcoin did in 6 months last time. And I'm taking it, if we're including this month, that would mean from this low. We're doing the 6 months, right? I guess we could do 7 months. Let's do the 7 months, because we did start green last month in April. So let's do 7 months, 7 full months, okay? Like we did last cycle. And not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I don't expect we'll move like this compared to last cycle. I think it's only going to be bigger. I think it's going to be bigger is what it is. I don't expect us to move like this at all. I think we're going to pass this move. I think it's going to be a much higher growth. But even from here, right here, and it maybe not much higher, but $50,000 higher, right? From here, seeing what we saw last cycle during this week, just horrible economic catastrophe events. We had COVID, you guys. We had all kinds of things that were going on. We were having the repercussions for back last cycle, and we still grew like this. Even at that same pace, we're going to $460,000. You hear me? Right? By October. That's what that would be, right? Does this make sense? Okay, so if we're going to see a stronger cycle this cycle, and I think that we will, we're a lot more primed and ready for that. I think that we have no problem getting to $500,000. I think that we really will see that, okay? So now that we've done that, let's get to the point where We talk about why, and I'm going on this whole tangent because I feel confident in what I've said about the current price action. We're going up higher. I've given you the targets. We've talked about it. We're going up higher. Okay, that's it. You don't really need to know much more than that. We're at 99.7K. We're going to go up higher. But now I'm talking about the point. Where will Bitcoin be by the end of the bull market? People who are like, well, surely you don't mean that Bitcoin will never go below 100K again. What about the bear market? Well, let's do that. Let's do the bear market. Okay, we're gonna do that right now. From a high to a low, 93% of a drop. High to low here, that was a 86% drop. You can notice that with every single passing bear cycle, the bear cycle gets more tame. 84% drop, lesser and lesser drops along the way, all the way down to last bear market, 77.5% drop. Now, I'm no psychic. I don't know what the bear market percentage drop is going to be this time. All I can assume it to be is that it'll be less than 77.5%, right? We're going to drop less than 77.5%. Let's say we're at $500,000, okay? Just below it, right there. 77.5%, which is what we're not going to drop to, right? We're only going to drop less than this, but 77.5% right there. That takes us to $112,000, my friends. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. When I say this, I truly mean this. We are in the final days, the final weeks, maybe. Maybe we'll go above it and then come back below it a couple times, maybe. We are in the final moments of Bitcoin ever, for the rest of my life and your life and your great-great-great-grandkids' lives. Forever. Bitcoin will never again be below $100,000. You understand that, right? This is a historical moment right now. And you might think that this is a joke. Maybe you'll think, that's a far-fetched thing, whatever. As time goes on, it's only going to prove itself to be true. It's inevitable. It's literally inevitable. And when I say this, I don't mean, well, what about the bear market? It's going to drop below that? No, because we're not going to drop 77.5%, are we? We're going to drop 75%. Maybe we don't even drop 70%. You know what I mean? There's a possibility, you guys, that right now here sitting at $99,000, we are on a path higher that will enable us to never see Bitcoin, not just below 100,000, but below 130,000, below 150,000. We're here at 99.8K now. And the whole thing that got me started on this tangent was everybody's probably looking at each other like, you guys, do you think Bitcoin's worth less than 100,000? I don't think Bitcoin's worth less than you think it's worth. No, it's probably not. No. What are we doing? We should probably buy. I didn't realize I had a little piece of hair sticking out like that until I turned sideways. We should probably buy this thing up while we can because it's not going to be here forever. You think it's going to be here forever, Johnny? No. Yeah, me neither. What about you, Pat? No. Yeah, I don't think so either. We're all coming to grips with reality here, right? And the only people that aren't are the bears who are curled up in their fetal position, sucking their thumbs, saying, "Bear Jesus will save us." He's not coming. Nope, he's not coming. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. It's go time. It's go time. We're gonna have some champagne sessions here pretty soon. All right, take care. Bye.